Freesmart was the most beloved alliance and group in Object Show history, with originally Bubble, Match, and Pencil, but then adding on Book, Ice Cube, and Ruby. But then in BFB it all switched and everyone hates that group now. But what happened and what is the true reason behind the derailment of this alliance? But let's backtrack a bit and see why this group was so loved and what happened to the characters and how it got so derailed. Before we get started, here's the comment shout out of the day. If you want to be the comment shout out of the day, all you have to do is comment number 1 through 1000, and if you pick the right number, you will be the comment shout out. And also please consider liking and subscribing. I try to make these videos as consistent as I can, and it does take a lot of work, so the least you could do is like and subscribe. So in BFDI 1A, you start to see the connection between Match and Pencil immediately with the opening scene, and then later in the episode you see the connection with Bubble. Then on the Bounce Team Challenge, you originally see the forming of the alliance between Match, Pencil, and Bubble agreeing to not push each other off. Then when Pin is picking the teams for the Squashy Cherry, she picks Pencil, Match, and Bubble in synchrony because they are in the alliance. After the almost countless eliminations to Squashy Cherry's face, there was only 5 members left, and 3rd of the 5 members were Match, Pencil, and Bubble, and that's when you see their chemistry really shine in the show, and it makes the pre-merge of BFDI a lot better with their interactions. Definitely their best episode in the pre-merge was when they all got put on the team when there was only 3 partner teams for that episode, and you really get to see their chemistry shine and their connections throughout the challenge. But then when another name gets added to the BFDI teams, you don't really get to see the Squashy Cherries that much unless they're winning the challenge, which they are most of the time. But then Match ended up being an early merge boot, and you got to see Bubble and Pencil shine, and that's when Ice Cube gets added into Freesmart. I also think this is where Pencil's character peaks with interactions between Ice Cube and Bubble. I just think that's where Pencil's really funny and honestly at their best. And this group of 3 is honestly so funny just because I feel like there's such different characters, and just like the interactions and like the communication I just find so funny, and it's just, I don't know, I feel like the chemistry just works super well with those 3, maybe even better than the original 3. But then it goes on like that for a decent part of the merge, but then Pencil gets eliminated, and then that's when the alliance really ends between Freesmart. But then BFDIA rolls around and everyone from the original alliance gets voted back into BFDIA, and then Ruby gets put into the show and Book gets put into the show, which is major for the alliance. Bubble did get voted into BFDI but couldn't compete because in the original finale, Flower removed all the recovery centers and Bubble ended up being killed, and all the contestants that weren't available at that time weren't allowed in, and Bubble wasn't allowed at that time, so Ruby was replaced with Bubble. Also, Book and Ice Cube's friendship started to form, and because Ice Cube wanted to be in Freesmart, so did Book, and they were considered alternates again like they were in BFDI, and they didn't really think that was fair, so they were always mad at Match and Pencil, and they never really got included in their alliance activities. In BFDIA, the alliance didn't really get that much screen time compared to BFDI. It was mainly Wobunch getting a bunch of the screen time until BFDIA 5, where the alliance is honestly just so amazing. When Freesmart team gets formed and there's 6 of the alliance members on the team and they're trying to go through and win the challenge, and they went through all of Yoyoland in the Freesmart van, and that was just honestly like peak BFDI in my opinion. Because in this episode, Match and Pencil aren't overly mean to Ice Cube and Book, and honestly everyone's super accepting of each other. They're really fun and just really fun interacting, and I don't know, I just really like Freesmart in this episode, and like I just loved them throughout the whole challenge. Just everything about this episode and that Freesmart was in, I just truly loved, and this is a really big shame that BFDIA ended because I feel like this team had so much potential. Pencil definitely became a better character in this episode. Same with Match, honestly, and Bubble was back to Bubble's original self, and you know, who doesn't love Bubble and BFDI? Ruby was also really awesome in this episode, same with Book and Ice Cube. And I honestly think BFDIA 5 was the best like moment of BFDI history. I just really love BFDIA, but then it just got ended and then nothing really from there. And it honestly truly sucks because I feel like BFDIA had so much potential. I don't understand why BFDI is hated so much. I think BFDIA was a really good season. But then IDFB rolls around and the original Freesmart people are still there in Yo-Yo City, and honestly I thought this was going to be an amazing season, and the season still might get continued, which would honestly be awesome. So I really do like the potential here. But then in BFB everything just gets ruined. Pencil always hasn't been the nicest character, but I mean, Pencil and Match has become overly mean to everyone. Bubble becomes overly sensitive. Ruby, I mean, I think Ruby stays a pretty good character. And then Book and Ice Cube just don't even want to be in the alliance anymore. And this is just crazy because this is nothing like how it used to be. There's just so much like random character derailment with really no explanation. No one knows why Match and Pencil became so mean out of nowhere. Bubble became overly sensitive out of nowhere. And now Ice Cube and Book don't even care for the alliance, which also just doesn't make that much sense because they wanted to be in that alliance so bad and they finally got accepted into it. And they didn't even want to be on alliance, basically had no interactions with that whole alliance at all pre-split. Is just honestly crazy to me because this is just nothing like what it used to be. And honestly, I think this has a lot to do with the new writing team that got added onto the BFDI cast. I feel like they just didn't really know how to write this scenario or this alliance. And I'm not one to point fingers at anyone, so I'm not going to be mentioning anyone, but there is this one writer that has been rumored to really not like the Freesmart alliance for some whatever reason, and they basically ripped them off the show to get voted out. I just find that so frustrating because I feel like this had had so much potential going into BFB after the IDFB stuff, but then Match and Pencil just became super rude out of nowhere. And if that rumor is true, just because you don't like a character, you just completely derail them, I find that just absolutely like insane to me. I mean, like they were super beloved. This whole alliance was super beloved by the whole BFDI community, and just write that away and derail all of them, I just find that crazy. And this writer's no longer on the team anymore, so I hopefully, really hopefully believe that IDFB can really save this alliance if it does get continued. I really hope this gets continued instead of adding a 6th season, but you know, you never know. I mean, honestly, I'm just fine. I'm completely fine with the new season being added to BFDI anyways, because you know, I love the BFDI as a whole, but I really hope IDFB gets continued. But if you did like this video, please like and subscribe. I really did work hard on this video, and yeah, goodbye.